Hi Corbin, this is this week's practice guide. I was super happy with the work you did last week, and I think we're ready to add a few more pieces. So, going off what we did yesterday in our lesson, you had prepared all of your power chords all the way up the neck, only hitting strings 6 and 5. That's what you prepared for me. Now, if you had chosen to hit all the strings, it would have sounded like this, which isn't quite good. So what we did yesterday was we discovered that if we take our hand, like let's say we're doing this power chord, the A power chord. If you take your finger, your index finger, which is arching over and hitting with the tip, if you twist it around like that and just lay it over the strings, not pressing it down, but just laying it over the strings, muting them, you can hit all of the strings, and only strings 6 and 5 will sound. So it'll sound like. So to reiterate, this is the way we normally hold down a string, arching straight up over with the tip of your finger. If you just allow the rest of it, while still holding down the initial note, you feel the rest of your finger just to barely touch the rest of the strings, it'll mute it. That's called muting the strings. So this week, what I would like you to do, not in tempo, don't feel like you have to go with a click, but be able to play Smoke on the Water with the power chords with the strings muted that you're not supposed to be playing. So that way only strings 5 and 6 will be going. So it'll sound something like this, and I'll do it real slowly. And I'm holding down wherever I take my finger. I'm able to hit all the strings because I'm muting everything but 5 and 6. So that's task number 1. The second task is that you did a great job of being able to switch from your one finger chord G, but to your one finger chord E minor, which is something we've been doing for weeks, and you got that coordination down wonderfully last week. So they're called one finger chords right now because you're just doing one finger. And when you did them, you could only hit the first 4 strings. Because if you were to hit all the strings, it would have sounded like this. And that doesn't sound very good. So what we did yesterday was we filled in the rest of the fingers. So I'm going to lay that out for you one more time. G major chord, which you had initially played with the one finger chord like this, is now fingered this way. You start by taking your middle finger and you put it on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. Middle finger, 3rd fret, 6th string. Leaving that there, you take your index finger and you place it on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Now this is kind of the part that'll feel kind of weird at first. What you do is you take next your ring finger and you put it on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. 3rd fret, 2nd string. And then, lastly, you take your pinky and you put it right next to your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Then you strum it all together, every string. So that's G major. Once again, I'll just kind of place it down so you can see what it looks like. And then the other chord, E minor, is actually easier. You start with your index finger and you put it on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Then you take your middle finger and you put it right next to it on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And you play every string, strum all of them. And that's E minor. Now the tough part, which I'd like you to do, is practice slowly moving from G major to E minor. And this will feel really frustrating at first because it's hard to get all of your fingers to find home, but they will. Just back and forth. Even if you want, sometime when you're watching TV, just sit there. This is what I did when I was learning these chords back in 2005. I would just sit there and watch TV and just go over and over again. And eventually, my fingers got to where they know exactly where to go to be home in those chord shapes. So it seems like not a lot. Oh, one more thing. Almost forgot about this. A minor pentatonic scale. This is something that you mastered in like 5 minutes when I taught it to you yesterday. I'm going to go over it again once here so that you can just practice that as well. And this is also good TV practicing if you're looking for the such thing. What you do is you start with your index finger on the 5th fret of the 6th string. That is the first note. Then the next one, you move your pinky up 3 frets to the 8th fret. So that's that. Of the same string. Next, you jump to the 5th string and you put your index finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string. So up to that point, these are the notes we have. Then next, take your ring finger and you put it on the 7th fret of the 5th string. So all together so far. Then next, take your index finger, you put it on the 5th fret of the 4th string. So all together to that point. And then the last note, you put your ring finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string. So all together. So if you can practice those 3 things, we will be so good to go next week. We'll be able to keep forging on forward. Happy practicing.